new to sales in general. Okay? And, again, we're just going to try to give you we are going to give you the playbook this evening for funding deals that look unfundable. So, Jose, you are in charge of the soundboard tonight. So you kick off the first segment, my brother.
All right. Well, today I want to just talking about messy files, right, in 2025. What does that look like? How do you overcome them? Can you overcome messy files? One of the things, let me just slow this a little bit. One of the, we actually had a deal today. A deal today. Multiple today. A deal today that Roger's been working on for.
Shout out to Roger.
Roger that.
He's been working on it for, I think, on that deal for about a week, right? I think it started last week. Then it was going to get funded. Client wanted to wait.
I'm not gonna lie. I gave up on that deal.
But
Jose, you know what? You would have given up on that deal too if you were looking at the file just like me, because of all the mitigating factors. But tell the people what was wrong with the deal, how messy it was.
I would have given up on the deal, but like I tell everyone else, never give up on the deal.
That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
That's the opposite of what you said.
Makes sense. Don't ever give up on a deal. All right. And the reason why is Roger actually fought for this client. What did he do? The deal started off at an approval for $50,000. He's a vet when it comes to MCA funding.
Yeah.
What he actually did was he was able to speak to a lender, actually present his case, and get the lender to overturn the decline into an approval. But showing the benefit of the funding, what they ended up doing was lowering the approval amount. Right. So it went from 50 to 25 to finally a starter program of $10,000, where they're going to fund the client every 2 to 3 weeks and give I think it was her.
Yes.
Give her the money every 2 to 3 weeks, but depending on performance.
Yeah.
Yo, clap it up for that. Clap it up for that.
He was on his Johnny Cochran right there, right?
Yeah, now I have to admit, I'm the one that initially looked at the file. The file was a complete train wreck. All right. And I mean, when you're at the end of the month, you really only try to push the deals that are fundable. Okay. It's not really about the deal size. Other shops focus on the deal size. We like to focus here on units. Okay. We just want to fund as many deals as possible. We want to try to, whatever is put on the table in front of us, we want to try to make sure that we're able to go ahead and get it done. Right. Okay. I looked at the deal. The deal was declined. If you guys know anything about MCS revenue-based funding, this deal was declined by 15 places because of defaults in the past. Excuse me. Now we tried to sneak a few past the goalkeeper. Got a couple of contracts out, got them signed, but they always caught it. Roger is very experienced in the industry, so he knew this one particular underwriter.
Yes.
That he's been doing business with for years. That was going to but was going to overlook it. I don't have that particular, again, relationships are everything. I don't have that particular relationship with that particular underwriter. Roger does. Roger does a couple of $1 million, a month.
Roger that.
With that particular underwriter. So he went to him and he was like, hey, listen, we need 50. They said, absolutely no way. We'll give you 25. They gave Roger 25, signed contracts. At the very end, they caught that the lady was a default. They said,
can I add one thing that I think you might have missed is that...
You can add it without interlocking my fingers.
One thing that you definitely have...
Was that a pinky promise?
One thing I want to add is that the client could have received funding for $25,000 had she not waited to get funded. The mistake that she did, and we still to this point where we don't understand why, because this client got blacklisted from every MCA lender.
Yep.
There's just so you know, there is a
like a database.
Data merch.
Yeah.
Right? That every lender refers to. She was blacklisted everywhere. Any way you could possibly think, she was blacklisted. But
now hold on. Just to give you, ladies and gentlemen, out there a little more insight. So data merge is something that underwriters use. Okay. It's a private website.
Especially in the revenue-based field, yeah.
Exactly. What it is, it's nothing that the banks use. Okay. This is specifically for what people in the revenue-based funding field uses. So what they do is before some people underwrite up front, which means as soon as they get the submission, they're automatically going to check some of these, websites to see what the payment history for this client is. Some people underwrite in the back once contracts are actually signed. So they don't, because every time they make an inquiry on this sort of thing, they have to pay for it. So this particular lady was all over this data merge thing. They just typed in the business name and the EIN, and they were able to see that she went bad on a couple of companies in the past. Kind of recent too, like last year, she busted out on like 2 companies, I believe. So with that, automatically up front, 15 underwriters. The underwriter right up front was like, nope, we're not gonna do it. But Jose, tell how he got it done.
No, finish the story. You can tell how you got it done. Once again.
Whoa.
So
That means shut up, Darrell.
So no. So what
Yes.
happened was that the client could have received the $25,000 had they accepted, because they had already. So remember, Roger was working this file on Friday. Then the lender said, "Listen, it's gonna be a holiday, so it was the end of the day. We missed the wire cutoff, so let's wait till Tuesday." Okay, so wait till Tuesday. Tuesday, Roger, everything good? Yeah, everything looks great. Client is moving forward, perfect. Okay, but now at the funding call, she says, "I'm not gonna need the money till Thursday." I'm like, "Oh man, that Roger can't catch a break." He's like, "No, I can't." So now we're waiting, and then during those 2 days, right? Because it was Tuesday, so you're talking about Wednesday. Today's Thursday. Well, during Wednesday and today, she pops up all over data merge.
Jeez.
So
They had the time to look and
Yep.
do more research and digging
Right.
into
That's
it.
when they start digging. Yep, you're right.
and that's what it
If you're
is.
sitting on something, of course you're gonna look more into it. You know,
Because underwriters are gonna say, why?
Why are you
why
waiting?
me? Why not the other 15 people that do it?
And listen, guys out there, and we keep cutting Jose off. I know this, but this is good stuff. Time kills. Time kills all
out my
deals. There's never been a deal
Yeah, if
in
you get a
which
good deal, you need to jump on it.
there's never been a time in which you got a financial product. You say, yeah, let's wait, and the deal got better.
No.
They always end up getting worse. You do something in that next like 10, 15 days, 7 days.
More
messing
time.
the deal up.
Yeah, more time for investigation on underwriting's behalf.
Correct.
And also too, it could kill the deal. Something could happen. Revenue sales drop. You
Yep.
know, you don't have sales.
Had a
coming
bad
in,
week,
right?
yeah.
Had a bad week. So you don't have sales coming in.
You have fraud in your account.
Yeah.
Something happened. A random lender from 3 years ago takes one little payment out of nowhere, and now they want to know what's going on with that lender. Like there's
Correct.
so many mitigating factors. If you're trying to get something on the traditional side, now you're swiping your credit card a little bit more. Now your utilization went up. Like so many things happen. The longer a deal is out
Yes.
and not closed.
And then that could definitely make a messy file.
Yeah.
Right. Even I think, even though it shouldn't happen, but I keep hearing it all the time, post COVID, right? After COVID, there's a lot of different things that still are happening. As far as infrastructure for a business, inflation, right? Inflation hit margin heavy businesses hard. In some cases, when that happened, student loan repayments, right? Personal debt. Remember, that creates credit issues. So if your credit score, if at one point, because there are some lenders that are sensitive as far as credit score requirements are. So if you wait and all of a sudden then when you get funded, they pull your credit again. And that credit score dropped because let's say now student loans popped up, default, or you used your credit card.
Utilization's up, yeah.
Yep.
Right? Credit score drops down. I heard a client actually. He said he paid off a BMW 7 Series, right? The next 7, the big ones.
Yep.
He paid it off. His credit score went down because he no longer had that debt.
Yep.
So there's a lot of different things that would impact.
Yes.
Just what's going on.
And you know what, too, Jose? A lot of these small business owners, they're not like an LLC. They're not a corp. Most of these, ladies and gentlemen, are operating just as a sole prop.
Correct.
And usually sole props tend to be underdocumented. They tend to be, or even seasonal businesses. So whenever you get an approval, I mean, I know you're gonna shop around, but the most you should really shop around is like a day.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 days max.
Yeah.
But again, the more time that goes
But
by,
if they shop around, they can bring you the terms they got correct, and you could probably beat them.
they could, or what could happen is, and this is what I see happens with most of these files, Jordan, on our side. If an underwriter sees a file too many times, they will
deny, right?
They will deny it because they're like, this guy's shopping around a lot.
Yep.
No one's.
He doesn't have the right mindset. He's not going to go through.
So
Not even that. Like, why aren't they moving forward?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, they're playing games. They're not going to move forward. Like,
Correct.
they're looking for the
It's
best
just- it
one.
raises-
Meanwhile, it's never going to come.
Right.
Correct.
It raises red flags, and
Yeah.
then it makes them more reluctant to want to fund that deal.
And that's not just on the cash advance side or the MCA side. Or the
Yeah,
value-based
it's
fund
across the
side. It's
board.
across the board. Traditional
Yeah.
banks do the same thing.
Yep.
If they see so many inquiries,
So many credit
then,
time,
yeah,
yeah.
They kill the deal. I mean, you used to be a bank. banker, Sean. So I mean, you know what I'm talking about, right?
100%. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they see more credit inquiries on the credit profile. They see that they're shopping around, dragging their feet. Again, that's what makes them dig into the file deeper to check to see if they have any skeletons in their closet.
Agree. All right. Darrell, now I guess if you can finish the story. So I was saying about what happened with the client. The client eventually got funded. They got funded $10,000 as a starter program.
Yeah, listen, we got the deal done today. $10,000 was a starter program, and because the lady made such a big fuss about not getting the 50 that she initially wanted, what really did end up happening is they agreed to go ahead and allow her to get funding every 2 weeks. Okay, so as long, and again, she's a default. So they said, listen, we'll work with you, lady. Like we're more than happy to go ahead and give you another 10 or 15,000 every 2 weeks as for the next like month and a half or so, as long as you don't miss payments.
Right.
So again, that's something. And again, this is not like a major MCA lender, revenue-based funding, lender or underwriter. This is somebody that's local, that Roger's been doing business with, that's really able to go ahead and get a little bit more creative with his clients. So that's a little bit outside of the box. But again, we knew where to place the deal.
And that's the thing, is just understanding how to pivot.
Yeah.
Whether it's a real estate deal, whether it's a revenue-based type of financing deal, knowing where to pivot. If you're getting an SBA loan, just perfect example was there was stepping away from the SBA. There was a client that they have a 800 score, and they were going to go ahead and pivot from I think it was a bank loan that all they need is 6 month statements. It's a traditional business line of credit. We were able to pivot to another bank because it's in the same state. There was something that bank did not like that another bank did. I just got the email earlier today. They're getting approved for a $50,000 business line of credit.
Nice.
With only 1 year business tax returns and 1 year personal tax returns, meaning 2024 business tax returns, 2024 personal tax returns. That is it, and an application. That's all. This client was in the state of Florida. So like we said, we build relationships. We speak to underwriters on a day-to-day. We have someone dedicated just to going into the banking platforms and the banking and understanding what the banking guidelines are, so that we are able to present them over to you guys.
Let's read chat really quick, Jose. Debbie and Dagan said hello. Hello, guys. How are you guys this evening? Thank you guys for tuning in. Debbie also said, question, how many times is a person's credit run? Now, Debbie, I can tell you this. On the revenue-based funding side, the majority of the underwriters or the lenders, they do soft pulls initially. It all depends though, because you can go down to like some deep paper lenders when they really it's like the bottom of the barrel borrowers. They're gonna pull a hard pull right up front. They don't mess around because they're used to dealing with defaults. They're used to dealing with people that payment history and stuff like that. They are gonna do a full underwriting up front to make sure that they don't waste their time. But for the majority of underwriters on a revenue based funding side, they definitely do. They do soft pulls because they understand that people are shopping around.
Also, keep in mind that if you actually have a client in the beginning, and the reason why I say this, and I don't want it to sound that we don't know what's going on, but in the beginning, Darrell focuses strictly a lot on the alternative lending space. But when a client first comes in, they go through our initial vetting process.
Yes.
Our AI, what it does is it pulls a soft credit pull. Right, the application that the client signs and fills out, there's a soft credit pull that gets done. It's an Experian soft credit pull. First name, last name, home address is what it takes in. Then understands what the client's credit score is. That does not affect the client's credit. It just puts us in a better position to understand where to place the client and what the client qualifies for. Because it also understands and reads client's trade lines. Do they own a home?
Utilization.
Do they have a car payment? Do they have, a student loans? Have they defaulted? Because I believe, and damn, am I wrong? If someone defaulted on a student loan because it's a government program, they cannot take an SBA.
Yeah, no, they can't. They traditionally a lot of these traditional programs, they want to make sure it's just squeaky clean. Okay, they want to make sure that you don't really have any any demons on your file pretty much. So anything that could potentially, when they give you the money, that some other entity can go ahead and take that money away from you, and now all of a sudden you can't pay them back, they don't want to fund you. Now, on the revenue-based funding side, sometimes if you have an excessive amount of judgments or liens, they won't fund you either, especially taxes. If you have a tax lien or you owe any money to the IRS, through your business, they will not fund you unless you're in a payment plan. They want to make sure that if they give you $200,000, Uncle Sam's not going to come and take $150, and now you can't pay back because now your plans for the money doesn't work.
Correct.
So that's definitely a big part of the underwriting process. Also, we can also kill a revenue. And again, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm speaking solely based on revenue base. Jose is our traditional specialist, and then Jordan and Sean are going to speak to you guys about anything real estate or mortgage wise. Okay, so in my playground where I operate, if you're behind on your child support or your mortgage payment, how my underwriters look at the file is, if you're not going to pay for your kid and you're not going to pay for where you live, why the hell would you ever pay me back?
Yes, and also too, because we look at it the same, is that, think about it. If you don't pay for that, then what's going to happen? They're deducting it some way, somehow. Any money that comes in that's assigned to you, it will go ahead and be deducted from you. So yeah, on our side, we look at it as well. Mortgages, I don't know. Do you guys look at that as well on the mortgage side?
What, child support?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And just to answer that question, is how, I guess that question from Randy was, how do I sign up? Right. So to sign up, listen, go to www.brokersconnectiongroup.com. It gives you a list of the programs that we offer. Click on the button on signing up, and that'll walk you through very seamlessly. A friend of mine actually signed up. A friend of mine that I've been speaking to, he's been watching the podcast, getting an understanding. He used to do sales in the past. He chose a different career path temporarily. He was, this is, I guess, just bragging a little bit. He was impressed as far as to how easy it was to set up. Everything from signing up, making a payment. What do you get? You get all the resources. You get a CRM. You get the one-on-one training with the actual IT department to be able to set you up. And then on top of that, if you also want to sign up and you don't have an outlet for credit repair, because credit repair is very important. Credit repair, a lot of business owners need credit repair. We do provide you that ability to go ahead and sign you up. There's a third-party company we work with. We refer you over. Hey, here you go. This is them. Sign up with them. They've been doing great. They also have an AI system that they use. And now last night alone, he sent over about, I think it was 10 deals. 11 deals. And his whole process was, he has a VA that he has on his own, someone that he trained on his own, had his own company before. They weren't able to close deals, I believe. But aside from that, he was like, wait, I make X amount of commission. All I have to do is send you a qualified client, and you guys do all the work. It's a no-brainer. Why would I not do that?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely www.brokersconnectiongroup.com. Definitely click on there.
You know what, Jose? One of the things that I wanted to say, just to, piggyback off what you said, funding is really not about perfection. Funding is all about preparation.
Yes.
Preparation, yeah.
It's about prepping the file correctly. It's about being able to go through like the pre-underwriting process, because again, we're not underwriters. We didn't go to school. We didn't go to school for underwriting or anything like that. But what we do is we look at the documents when they come in, and we are very good at what we do. We've looked at thousands of files, tens of thousands of files, right? On a daily basis, we're probably looking at like 20, 25 files, at least on the business funding side. From traditional to revenue based, we're looking at least 20, 25 files on a daily basis. So, you multiply that by 5, times that by 4, then times that by 12. Just think about how many files we're looking at a year. And that's just on average, not even like when it's super busy, right? So again, it's about preparation, about looking at the file. It's about doing a soft credit check. It's about seeing what state they're in. It's about seeing if they have any other financing out.
Yeah.
It's about communicating with the client and seeing what kind of offers that they already have.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, if I know that I'm going up against a deal that somebody's going to get for like an 18-month revenue-based financing deal, which is pretty long. It's a pretty long-term for a short-term financing option,
Right.
you know, I know that that person went to an A-paper lender. So I know that I need to submit this file to A-paper lenders. And then if not, then I know that that file, I'm going to have to go to B, and I might need to just get more money. There needs to be other mitigating factors for you to bring that file over.
Now, remember that also, too, and this goes to from what I've learned from you, is that every messy file.
Oh, you learned from me. Oh, okay.
Listen, I learned it from you
Sensei.
because
Okay.
I learned it from you watching you mess up so many times.
Give
I'll
Darrell
take
his
that.
flowers.
Yes.
I'll take that.
Every messy file does have a story.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's very important. Brokers get paid to tell, right? Brokers get paid. Just any way you put it.
But
Brokers
you also aren't
get
learning
paid.
if you don't fail.
Correct.
Touche.
But brokers get paid to tell a better story than the client can.
Yes.
All right. So
Yeah.
just and that was one of the things. Just to reiterate that again, is every messy file has a story.
Right.
We get paid to be able to present that story to an underwriter,
Yes.
present that story to a banker, whoever it is that we have to present the story to, and just present a better picture
Mhm.
right at the end of the day.
Right. And one thing that's very important too is when you're dealing with clients, you want to give them the perspective that you're working on their side. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to try and, fluff up their story, make them sound a lot better than they really are, make their credit sound better, make their sales history sound better. But you're not against them. You're not the one making the decision. They have to understand that you're working for them. You're like your attorney. A wise man named Joshua once said there's 3 people you don't lie to. Your doctor, your attorney, and your broker, right? You want the transparency so when there are some skeletons in their closet, when there are, when they have a checkered past, you can help navigate them through those hurdles to get the deal closed. So that's very important.
Give applause to that. I like that.
So Jose, one of the things that I wanted to ask you with now that like the landscape is changing as far as like funding is concerned, right? And you see banks are tightening up, you see people are all in an uproar. What's like one of the things that you've changed on a daily basis to go ahead and I guess set proper expectations for what certain people want?
I'm sorry, I missed you there. What was you were talking? You were talking. You.
Well, hold on. That's that. Wait, hold on. Did we need
I
subtitles?
was reading the comments. I don't understand what the question
man.
was.
Sometimes no, I was gonna say is because listen, we have a funding sequence, right? When a deal initially comes in, if we see that it has, when we look at the application, we see if it has 680 score, we kind of know where it's gonna go.
Yes.
If he has revenue, what I was gonna say is this: with the banks tightening up, and we seeing a lot of people because we've had some files that we didn't even know at the beginning just what they initially said that they had like hidden stuff in the background that would kill deals, right? Has there been a change in how you qualify people? Like, are you changing, like, in the sequence of questions that you usually ask to qualify? Are you asking certain questions up front to try to get to try to get people to talk about what could be negative on the file, or are you kind of doing the same thing?
So we're doing banks. So when you say banks have tightened up, there's only a couple of programs that have actually changed. One of them being the SBA. Right. And I'll let you go ahead and speak a little bit more about that. But getting back to how do we pre-qualify someone? First question is, number one, what's your credit score? Right. Setting proper expectations is very important. But understand this, your credit score is also very important. Why? Yeah. Because your credit score tells a story of who you are as far as who you are financially.
Responsibly.
There you go.
Yeah.
Financially and responsibly. If I give you a card with $1,000, what do? Do you max it out? Do you max it out but pay it off early? Do you max it out and hold the balance? Because that right there it's going to tell you a couple of things. If you have $1,000 card and you max it out, but
I have a question.
Yes,
But does it matter if they're using it for like their utilities and like stuff that somebody needs to use a credit card for,
it does.
versus if they're going to the Gucci store and buying it?
Everything does, because you want to know why? Because why would you use a credit card for your utility bills? You don't have the money in your debit card to be able to do it. Now, some people are what they do, and because it sounded bad the way I said it, replied, but some people what they would do is use their credit card to pay the utility bills to gain points,
And then you
but
pay
then
it off.
pay it off right away.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by do you use it,
And pay it.
pay it off, and on top of that, when do you pay it off, or do you hold the balance? All right, so that's very important. Understanding your credit profile. So that's why number one question is what is your credit score? And banks or funding institutions, financial institutions, they care about that. Right. A lot of people are going to say, wait, but I saw on TikTok and I saw on social media, I saw that they have programs that your business can you can go strictly on your business and nothing on your personal credit. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna tell you this. Those are companies that are established and making millions of dollars that have the ability to do that. If you can prove me wrong, please, I would love to invite you over and we can talk about it. But there is no way, I have never ever seen that happen for someone that has a 500 credit score and you're going to tell me that their business credit is up to par and that they're going to get strictly funding based on the EIN number.
Just doesn't make sense.
No.
It doesn't. Now, I may be wrong,
Well,
and I would love to challenge you.
y-
If you
y-
tell me that you can, please, we'll have you on in. I will apologize and say that I am wrong.
No, I want to sign up with. I want to sign up with their lenders. Whoever the hell they're signing up
I'll
with, bro.
send you
you
business.
got to
Please.
remember, a lot of these people on social media, they're going to tell you this, that, and the third, but ultimately what they're selling is a training course
Oh, yeah.
or a mentorship. So they will tell you what sounds great to your ears, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay for some kind of coaching, this and that, and it doesn't necessarily make it true.
And also, ladies and gentlemen, it was funny because I'm glad he mentioned that because we do a lot of research, right? There is a specific influencer, I guess, whatever he wants to call himself, that calls funding companies parrots, right? If you guys know who it is, his main phrase is they're parrots, right? But yeah, I looked at it, signed up with the company today to try to understand what it was that they were doing. Listen, because at the end of the day, if they're doing something better for the client, why not? At the end of the day, we're here to serve you guys.
Right.
Wait, hold on. I thought this was Tequila Thursday. Are you gonna put a name on that bullet, or are you just gonna keep shooting?
No. We're just gonna keep because
Okay.
until they write in the comments.
All right, that's all right.
That's how you get fan base.
If you guys show me the comments, I think Jose will put a name on that bullet. If
we
you guys
will.
are lurking like you were last week.
Yeah. No. But last week, I want to say thank you for viewing. No, it wasn't that person. It wasn't a person from before. But that's besides the point.
Did I throw you up with that? I'm sorry. I want you to put a
Yeah, I
name
was-
on that bullet, bro.
No, I'm not going to say gags, but that wasn't what I was talking about before. What I'm saying is there was this is someone very prominent, someone that actually
Has an audience.
has an audience, a big audience, and his whole thing is, oh my God, these people are charging you for this, and this, and they're parrots and this, and this, and then the worst, etc. I said, okay, cool. You know what? So let's see what you offer. I went on a Zoom today with the company that they say, oh, we do this and this. They're charging up front $3.99 for your client to be able to get funding. Then on top of that, on the back end, they're going to charge you 10%. Now, trust me, if a company can do what they say they could do, why are they going to charge you up front?
Right.
You know, I despise, especially if you're bad mouthing everyone in the space, right? We're going to charge you. You're not paying us for the service we're going to perform. No, you don't pay anyone for the service. You pay everyone for the knowledge.
Yes.
You know what? Do this.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay for it. Take the 200-hour course, right? Because some of them are that. Take the training. Take the time to understand the banks. Take the time to understand the guidelines. Take the time to be able to write it all down. Take the time to do all this. And at the end of the day, understand this. You're never going to buy back your time. So yes.
That means they're not confident if they have to charge their money up front.
100%.
That means they don't really believe what they're selling. Otherwise, they'd offer their service for free, put together the offer, and then charge on the back end.
Because that's what we do. We go ahead and have conversations with everyone and understand what they do. Because if they're a benefit, we'll present it to you. Matter of fact, we'll tell them, listen, we have a community that has this. Here you go. It's all for you. But a lot of these people charge up front. I don't get it. Why?
Smoke and
charge up
mirrors.
front?
Listen, you know why they charge up front, Jose? Because there's people that are still gonna pay it. Unfortunately, I mean that's just it. I mean, the only way that these companies don't make money is
Right.
if you just stop paying the intro membership.
Yep.
Because you guys are gonna pay the money to send them deals. Then I mean,
But you know what was funny? They were charging for, if I get you an SBA loan, the dollar amount was ridiculous. I think it was like 5,000. They said if
for
I-
10 years?
no, you have to pay me up front
$5,000.
$5,000. Yeah, and you get access to my programs. My programs are traditional bank lines of credit,
Revenue-based
SBA loans,
Is it
revenue-based loans, and everything else. I was like, "Are you serious?" I just had to end it. The guy just kept talking. I was, but just understand this is the comical stuff that's out there.
And people are deceived. The unexperienced people,
Yeah.
they're gonna believe
Yeah.
all the hype. You know, it sounds great, but at the end of the day, they're gonna pay that upfront fee and be left high and dry, empty-handed.
Now, Jordan, let me ask you a question on the real estate side, because I know on the
Okay.
real estate side this happens a lot as well, right?
Yeah.
Where so the market now, or where is it going now? What do you think as far as to everything that's the tariffs? Obviously the presidency still is new.
The
But
market
where do you
really
see
hasn't
everything?
changed. The market hasn't really changed. I mean, it's still, people are still paying over asking when they're purchasing houses. People are still having bidding wars. It's still crazy. I don't think it's really going to stop. I think the rates might go down. Fingers crossed. I mean, we don't know. But I think if the rates go down, it's going to be how it was during COVID, and it's going to be like a zoo.
Right.
Nice.
And hold on. One of the things with Jordan, so you do wholesaling as well, right?
Yeah, well, I do like off market and investment properties more than wholesaling. So, like, my clients are mainly investors that want to flip properties or hold properties.
Nice.
They don't buy like on market properties. Most of them want off market, or the people that do buy on market sit there through MLS all day long, waiting for a house to come out. And as soon as that house comes out, they bid 50,000 over and hope to get it, and that's that. But it's very hard to get the on market ones because there's so much competition. And the same with those auction websites.
Yeah.
That's why it's a lot easier if you could find off markets, and that's what investors want. And there's less realtor fees and stuff like that when you buy off markets anyway.
And ladies and gentlemen, I just want
And
to
as a
go ahead. I'm sorry.
as a real estate agent, thanks, Jose. As a real estate agent, if you bring a deal to somebody, like let's say you're an investor and I bring you a deal,
Yeah.
I might not get paid on the buy side, like you purchasing it, but you'll give me back the relist, and that's where I'll make my money.
Nice. Okay, cool. Nice. And I
So it's like an incentive to bring deals to
Yeah.
investors. You know what I mean? Because you're getting the listing back.
got it. All right. Well, listen, and I don't know anything about real estate, so what she's
I
saying
can teach you
is
something.
100%
Oh.
correct. Her mentorship program is coming soon. She actually is a very, very, very
That's it. Forget
witty,
Grant Cardone.
yeah.
You got Jordan over here.
Jordan, very witty person. She understands this space. She understands what she could do with everything. Even today, I think she pulled up for our investors. How many? Like I think it was like 20 properties, Jordan.
Probably somewhere around there. They're all off markets that wholesalers are selling. Then I make up a list out of all the ones that I have and see what investors want them and what they're going to pay for them.
And listen, you know that Jordan is truly
Is a trooper.
is truly a woman about her money, because she walks around the office with just a notebook just full of deals that she walks around with, and it's definitely
Well,
very
not
impressive for
even
somebody
that.
that just started
Today-
out here sick.
Today we said, listen, Jordan, you're feeling under the weather. Stay home. No. I can't. It doesn't matter. And that's
I had things to
that's
do.
a hustle.
I don't know. My clients needed stuff done, and I want to make sure my deals go quick and smooth. So I had to come here so that I could call
Clap
the
it up for that,
title
Jose.
company.
Clap it
Give it up for that.
We got the appraisal done yesterday. It was ordered yesterday. It was ordered on Tuesday. It was done on Wednesday.
Nice.
Today I contacted the title company, and we're getting it moving. Hopefully we could close in like a week.
Nice.
go.
Nice.
Let's go.
It's fire.
And then that same client has 2 more properties.
That's it. The domino effect.
I noticed that's a big thing, that you guys experience.
You got to do right by investors because they're repeat offenders. They're going to keep coming back. As long as you do right by them and can
Yeah.
make their deals done in an efficient time and
That's
get
it.
them the best deal.
They can offend
They're
me all
gonna-
they like.
Yeah. They're going to keep coming back because they're going to want that same exact incentive that you just gave them, especially if they're making more of a profit than they were and they're having to use less of their own capital. who's not going to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have so many products that no other companies can offer. That's the difference.
100%. And Randy, I just want to answer your comment. Do this. Reply. Send an email over to Brokers Connection.
Yep.
He sent them a message already. He took care of them
All right.
already.
You know, one of the things that I definitely wanted one of the areas I wanted to jump into this evening, Jose, is like what underwriters are actually looking for or what they actually want in 2025. Okay. I mean, I could for one say that they don't really want. I know it sounds cliche, but they really don't want any headaches. They really just want simplicity.
They want it to be somebody that's worked the same job for 5 years or 2 years at least, and that's a stable person, not somebody that's hopping from job A to B to Z.
Mm-hmm.
Giving
Because that
secrets
doesn't
away.
show
You're
stability.
giving out the gems.
That's it.
Those
They
are
gotta
the
pay-
gems.
They got to pay for that.
We got to pay for that.
Gems.
It's a paywall for
Yeah,
that one.
And,
No, but if you want me to just because that's a
because she's right.
yeah,
She's
no,
right.
that's a crazy real estate gem for sure.
Consistency.
But you know that's something that the average American does not know.
Yeah.
They feel like just because they're working
Yeah,
that
no.
looks good. Like no, you
No.
gotta
You
show
have
some
to
switch
stay-
jobs.
You have to stay at one place because that shows stability.
Stability.
That shows that you're a normal person that's gonna
Consistency.
show up to your same job and not be like, oh, you know what? I want to do something with my friends and my family this weekend, so screw this job. I'm just gonna go on the online and find another job, and I can start Monday. It doesn't matter. Like
No.
that's not gonna help you in the long run. You need to have consistency and stay on the same exact path. Or let's say you're a plumber. So you work at Joe's Plumbing, and God forbid something happened at Joe's Plumbing, so you have to move, and now you work at Frank's Plumbing, but you got a new job within a fashionably time, like a reasonable time. I mean, that's okay as long as you're keeping up with the flow and not switching 100 times. One time here and there,
Yeah.
okay, no big deal. If you're gonna continue to do it and over and over and over, obviously you're not a stable person. You can't make it to work, and there's a reason that you keep on having to switch jobs.
Facts.
And then I guess they kind of use deductive reasoning and feel like if you pretty much have stability in your career, then you're gonna
You're
have
gonna have
stability in
stability.
your,
You're
with
lower
your
risk.
bills. You have stability with your bills,
Of course.
stability where you live. You know
You're
what I mean?
probably a rational person versus the person that's like, oh, I have $100 to my name, but I want to get this tattoo. Fuck it, it's $100. Let me
Yeah.
get it.
Flight risk. Yep.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's the same thing with businesses too. You know, the longer time in business, the more money you can show, the more consistency,
Yep.
the more programs that are going to be available, right? Same thing with credit
Especially
reports.
if you pay your
Yeah.
bills, you're gonna have better credit versus the other
But-
guy
but
that doesn't,
also-
and that's gonna help you in the
And
long
also
run.
remember
Yep.
too that what we were able to do is also there are programs for business owners that don't have the revenue, right? Because the perfect client is the W-2 client, the nurse, the doctor, the this, the that with
course.
W-2 income.
Right.
We also offer programs for clients that are business owners. Why? Because what do business owners do? Especially if they're starting off a business, first 2 years, actually first 3 years, you're writing everything off, unfortunately, right?
Mm.
Which you have your right to do.
Yep.
I don't want to get into politics, but you have a right to write everything off.
Yep.
But then when they want to buy a house and they're like, wait, but I made this much last year, but they don't realize that they wrote off 75% of it, it doesn't show that you really made that much.
Now, keep in mind, this is, and I love this because that's a real estate answer. But we have programs for business owners that own businesses for 2 years where I don't need to show your tax returns.
Credit driven.
Just understand this. Credit, that's going to go down to this. If you do, because everyone's concerned about rate. Okay, so your interest rate, you go conventional FHA, right? That means you have W-2s, you have the tax returns.
Full doc, they call
Full
that.
doc.
Yeah.
You have the full doc. Perfect. Thank you, Sean. Full doc version to show someone to be Sean and I are gonna have a conversation to get a better interest rate, to get the 3.5%, the 4% down payment money, right? But if you're not paying Uncle Sam, at the end of the day, you have to pay somewhere or the other, which means that you do have the ability to qualify for what is called a non-QM mortgage. A non-QM mortgage stands for a non-qualified mortgage. The difference between a qualified mortgage and a non-QM mortgage means that a qualified mortgage gets sold in the secondary market. That is your Fannie, Freddie, FHA, and conventional mortgages. A non-QM mortgage means that whoever is giving you that money becomes a servicer. They're the ones that said, listen, my line of credit, I'm going to back it. I'm giving you the money, and you're making payments to me. They have the ability to sell later on if they choose to. But that means that now, if you're a business owner, we can go ahead and provide you P&L financing, meaning that I can get you a mortgage. As a matter of fact, let me take a step back. We can get you a mortgage with just a 1099. We can get you a mortgage with just a W-2. We can get you a mortgage with just a profit and loss statement. We can get you a mortgage with an I-10. I can get you a mortgage if you live outside of the U.S. as a foreign national. But understand this, less documentation. Let's say that the rate today is 7%. Less documentation. I'm sorry, here. 7%.
Right.
Less documentation because it's a balance.
Pay a little bit more for
So,
less documentation.
Less documentation, your rate goes up.
Yep.
Rate goes up.
The
Rate
more you
goes
can
up.
prove,
Rate goes up.
the cheaper the money. The more you can
Exactly.
prove, the cheaper the money.
That's what it is. So if you are a business owner that doesn't have the tax returns, right, because you didn't want to pay Uncle Sam, you have your right.
Not our business. It's not our business.
I'm not an accountant. I have no idea. I'm not asking you not to do anything. But looking at your tax returns are negative. And remember, if you own a business, we look at both personal and business. Let's assume that those two are negative. I don't know what. I'm not an accountant. I have no idea. But I'm just looking at the paperwork. We could do a profit and loss statement, or we could do a bank statement program. Let's assume that your bank statements, as soon as you start leaving the verifiable income platform, it changes. And we have the ability to provide you all these different options. Right? So it's just insane. It's just getting to understand what programs we have in house. And the reason why I brought it up is because we had someone in real estate that now is expanding over to investments and just fixing the narrative. Right, and that's just it's just not about numbers. And like we said before, it's just presenting a scenario the right way.
Right.
Not just saying, "Hey, listen, I want to apply for this because of this," but you can't get me this.
Getting the key details of their goals, and then getting the information of what they need to qualify, and find out if there's any kind of history that we might have to do a little dance around. You know what I'm saying? And, presenting it properly, right? And again, it comes down to the rapport you build with that client, getting them to really trust you. You're on their side because, again, in this industry, we're not making money unless we're funding deals, right?
Yeah.
So it's in our best interest to make sure we present their deal in the right light.
Yeah. Listen, reality of the situation is this, ladies and gentlemen. Underwriters are under political pressure too. Default rates rising, taxpayer money being spent, media scrutiny. Especially for the SBA, anything government backed. Right now, they're not taking.
Not looking good.
They're not taking any chances right now. Especially with the political climate right now. Especially just everything that's going on in the world. Quite frank, but listen, if your deal makes an underwriter think, they're probably going to decline. If it makes them nod, they're going, more than likely, they're going to approve. And it's just about, like we said earlier, painting the correct picture. Like before your deal goes to any lands on any underwriter's desk, you need to make sure that you know your deal in and out, or it shouldn't go to that underwriter. You know what I mean? Make sure that your deal gets placed or gets put in front of the person. It's more than likely it's going to go ahead and get the deal done. You all know who you guys send deals to. You guys know who's going to miss certain things. You guys know who's going to make exceptions for certain things. You guys know who you guys have relationships built with. You know what I mean? So just make sure, just like that deal with Roger today, he knew that the only person on the planet Earth that's going to fund this deal was the people that he do a couple $1 million a month with. Right. You know what I mean? And
he was their advocate. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
he fought for the deal, and he sold the deal to the underwriter. I don't think they wanted to do the deal. Once they killed that 50, I don't think that they wanted to do the deal. They did it because they trust Roger, they trust his decision making, and he was able to put a story together for them, and they ended up getting the deal done. So, I mean, you guys have to, and again, a big part of that comes to where you're submitting and how you package the deal together.
right?
All right. Jose, we are, we got like a little, almost 15 minutes left. What's one final thing that you want to kind of not our final thoughts, but what's like one final thing that you kind of want to like touch base on just before we get out of here? Let everybody watch the New York Knicks come back from this 3-1
Oh, let's
deficit.
go.
They're gonna come back.
They're gonna come back.
They're gonna come back. Listen. Remember this. You guys, at the end of the day, you guys are not order takers, and I say this all the time, and I hate it. And I hate the fact that you guys, some of you,
People.
some people out there in TV land, social media land out there. Listen, I'm going to tell you a couple of things.
Yeah.
Number one,
Know your worth. I'm sorry.
know your worth, but that's going to be yours.
I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Get excited.
Listen, do not become a yes person. Don't just tell the client yes, 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 because I want the deal. Your competition, at the end of the day, if you do MCAs, you have the easiest competition. You want to know why? Because the competition I've been doing this for years.
Just
and
say it.
your competition is honestly the 20-year-old kid you're getting dropped off with it by his mom's on a Honda Civic, right? Saying, "Hey, kid, go to work," because you saw Wolf of Wall Street. Your competition is not who you think they are, right? So don't be scared to stand up to everybody else. And the reason why I say that is because everyone wants to become a yes person, thinking that if you get put up side by side to someone else, it now becomes, oh my God, I have to drop my pants. Oh my God, I have to now do something that everybody else is not going to do, right? And just lower it down to this.
Lower your points. Lower how much you're going to make just to try to get the deal done. That's not always the answer. It's not. That's what Jose's trying to get at. You know what I mean? Listen, I've worked with tons of people in this space, and the first thing they try to do is lower the points.
Yes.
I'd rather try to ask the lender for a longer term, more money, something else that's not going to really affect the commission as much.
Yes.
Because
But-
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, because I was going to say, like a difference of like $2,000 in commission in your pocket. Sometimes that, like, lowering the rate,
It doesn't do nothing,
It's only
right?
going to save them like $50 a week.
Less.
Yeah, less than that.
Like $40 a week, and you lose $2,000 that you could make in a week or two
Yes.
for saving them like $50 a week. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're just not good at presenting. You're just not good at really presenting the offer. And not for nothing, Jose. That's kind of what I wanted to touch base on before we got out of here, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
But we're not getting out of here.
Like-
Can you let me
Yeah,
finish?
man. What are you in a big rush for?
Yeah.
man?
Why are you in a rush? Why?
no, I'm not. Touching your arm. I'm not interlocking
my
fingers.
God.
Listen, you got to just ask these people, what's the real reason you need funding right now? What's the real reason you need funding right now? Some of these people, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are going to find that they're just shopping around because they want to see what they qualify for. They don't
No.
need money.
I think you're wrong.
They're going to keep.
They're wrong. You're wrong.
I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
Let's
There's
debate.
no way.
Let's debate.
As long as you're not a master at it.
Not. You know. Thank God, not anymore.
Oh, okay.
All right. No, but go ahead.
Hold on. No, there isn't. The client.
You don't think that you don't think that some people are just trying to see what their options are out there, that they don't really have an immediate need?
No, because you don't walk into a car shop. You don't walk into the lot if you're not going to buy it. There's an interest. There's something piquing their interest.
You're right, Jose. Jose, you know what? I need $50,000 today. I need it for working capital.
What does that mean, George? What does that mean, Darrell?
Well, fuck. What's my first name? Michael, last name Jordan? Like, what do you call me?
I thought you were Michael.
No, but
I'm trying to present you as the GOAT. I'm trying to make sure that there is no issues as far as to him telling me, you know what, there's no I'm not qualified. So, Mr.
No, listen. You know what? You know, Jose. I want money. You know, for just operating expenses, like just in case. You know that's why I need the money today.
Okay, can I ask you a question? What did you do last year? What were your sales last year?
Last year, I made like $50,000 a month. So I don't know, like what is that? $600,000 last year.
So you said operating expenses. So do you assume that you're going to make more money this year?
Yeah, we did expand a little bit. Yeah.
How so?
Well, I owned 4 trucks last year, and this year I have 6.
Okay, so So you had 4, and this year you have 6. So you added 2 more.
Yeah, I just need money on hand just in case a truck breaks down. I need gas, wear and tear, the tires.
Darrell, I actually love what you just said. You want to know why?
Do you love me?
Maybe.
Okay, let's see.
But I love what you just said because you showed progression in the business. You went from 4 to 2, and you made how much more?
I made 4 to 6.
I'm sorry, 4 to 6, and you made how much more?
Well, I was doing about 50,000 a month last year. This year, with adding another truck, I'm doing about 75,000 a month.
Oh, that's 1 truck, but you said you added 2.
2 trucks got me an extra 25,000 a month.
Okay, so 2 trucks, 25,000.
Make sure you an extra 12.5 a month per truck.
And I love. Okay, so once again, I love the fact that you say that because you want to know why?
Yes.
Because the reason why you're here today
Yeah.
is because you see the potential and you understand numbers. Because at the end of the day, I mean, Darrell.
Yeah. I'm a smart business owner, right?
No, if I'm gonna lie to you, I'll tell you I lie to you.
Would you?
Wait.
Why would I lie to you?
You would. I don't think you would.
But you know what though? Even if I did,
Yeah.
we can both agree on something.
Yes.
Numbers don't lie, right?
No, just people.
Okay. So if you got another 2 trucks?
Like 2 more in addition in my fleet. Yeah.
It would generate how much more money?
Probably an extra 25,000 a month.
Okay. And we're talking today because you're exploring or because you want to make another 25,000?
I don't know, man.
Ooh.
Listen,
Ooh.
that's a great question because that's what you should ask.
Yes.
A lot of people don't ask that
But
question.
no, I'm asking you that, Mr. Darrell Mills.
Mr. Dow with the 6
Darrell
trucks.
Mills
So
with
you're
6
asking
trucks.
me, Mr. Dow with the 6 trucks, if I potentially want to, or if I
more
want to potentially
trucks.
get another 2 more. So add another 2 to my fleet, giving me 8.
Thinking outside that box.
But
That's
why
it.
not? Because the reason why I say that is because, listen, and I'll be frank with you.
Just be
No,
Jose.
be Jose with me. Be Jose with me, not Frank.
Okay.
Be yourself.
I'll be Jose Frank.
Okay.
Frank Jose. Listen, is that I'm sure you understand why you walked in here. And I'm not going to give you the story of, everything happens for a reason.
Of course not.
But everything does happen for a reason.
It does.
It does, right?
It does.
It does. So if I would be able to provide you the financing for the
No,
other
well, Jose,
2
I think
trucks,
that's bullshit, bro.
get the
Oh, almost got you, Tequila Thursday. I think it's bullshit. You want to know why? Because I don't think that the majority of business owners fucking have plans, dude. And I don't think that some people can.
hold on.
I don't think that some.
Controversy.
I don't think that some people can handle the growth.
He's right. You
I
know,
don't think some people can handle the growth.
and then I just shut off his mic.
Shut my mic off.
No,
Shut my mic off.
listen, but you know what? He's right. So because you know why he's right? Because every person that goes and asks for money or looks for money is because either Joe Schmo across the street, he saw how successful he is. So now he's looking for it. The other person that maybe his brother, well, he saw an ad on Facebook and said, let's motivate you. Wake up every morning at 4:00 in the morning and do this, and this.
Dunk your face
Dunk your face in ice
water.
water. Shout out to Ashton Hall.
Nah,
Shout out to Ashton Hall.
I did that. Yo, I did that. That's good. But getting back on track is, you know what? Business owners sometimes fall out of the track that they're
Yes.
They get
That part, bro.
in. Now,
Yes.
but aside from that, because it happens to everyone, you need a motivation. Listen, being a business owner is the hardest thing in the world.
Yep.
First one in, last one out. But then after that, after you're done with business, you got to go home
Another life.
to another life. Right, but that's after hours, ladies and gentlemen. Pay for the podcast, and you'll hear us vent. But listen, the reason why someone is looking for that for just an interest. An interest means I thought about it. Your job, make him or her spend the money,
Yep.
Bob, because they never thought it was possible.
All right, make them think.
Bob, listen, you have a 680 score. Yeah, Jose, you know what? But I keep getting cash advances all the time and this and this. Bob, because you know why? Because you've only put yourself in one position. You've only put yourself in one market, a cash advance market. Yo, it's crazy. They're gonna love you with a 680 score until you tell them you don't have bank statements.
Yep.
But let's assume that you have statements, you have tax returns, you're showing a profit, you're showing this. You know, with a 680 score, you can actually get money from the bank, $50,000, business line of credit, monthly payments.
What?
Oh my God, are you serious? No,
No,
you're lying.
No UCC.
Oh my God, what? Why did
Unsecured.
my other guy tell? I'm gonna give you a perfect example.
They didn't know.
I hope
They don't
and I
know.
wish that the person I'm speaking about watches this video.
We can tag them. We can tag them.
You know who you are.
You do.
You
No,
do.
but it's not the person you think. It's someone else. But so we have someone that always comes back to us and says, "Hey guys, I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to do this. I want to do that." It was on a mortgage side, and my guy Stanley, love him to death.
Shout out to
Stanley,
Stan.
this isn't about you, but I'm just I
Stanley.
love you. I love you, Stanley. But he gets taken advantage of, and I'm like, Stan, seriously, what the hell? Why? If he's doing right by the mortgage, taking care of someone. Now, on the business lending side, he brings over all the deals over to me. And now I get a phone call a couple of days ago, and it's like, Jose, listen, I have an approval for $130,000. 130, you know what I'm talking about. It was $135,000. 12-month term. And they love my business. They're gonna do this. You only were able to come back and give me daily, and it was a short term, and this and that. And then on top of that, I have it was gloating, right? You're gloating.
Everything in the
Now-
book you could do to try to smear pie in somebody's face. This lady tried to do.
So now it's like, you know what? Then on top of that, I have another deal from this lender, and we have this, and this. What are you gonna do for me? I said, listen, let's take it one step at a time. Number one, you called me because you know that realistically, I know your situation. Why would you call me if you have those deals? Take them. Take them. Right? I'm never going to be someone that's going to say, oh my God, I want to compete. Oh my God, I want to do this. Oh my God, well, just take it. Take it. You did not have the confidence and the trust in me the first time that I got you money. Right? Because I got you $40,000 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I got you money when no one else would. Okay, now you're gonna come back to me. Perfect.
Crawling back.
Now listen. I need you to understand my value and my worth. Do me a favor. Sign the contracts for $135,000.
If you have them.
No, she did. She did. Now, also, on top of that, understand this. I know the whole scenario. I funded you before, and I came back and I told you I got an approval for $100,000, but it was 28 weeks. Go sign it for 12 months. You have two people telling you, yes, please do. You want to know why? They do not know what I know,
Secrets.
but I do know what you did.
What is that? I know what you did last summer.
What does that mean? And it was nothing malicious. And I'm just like, go ahead.
It wasn't malicious. It just wasn't by the book.
It was real. Understand is we know
We're French.
Listen, okay, no.
bring up
I've
France.
been in this space for 15 years. I taught Darrell everything he knows. He now understands everything in this space.
And I will also say that this particular lady, I mean, I don't. Listen,
Just give up her identity.
no, listen. I don't know why she came like back to us like so arrogant and stuff. We did right by the lady the first time, and what most of the underwriters didn't know is that the payments that she had for one of the deals that we got her, she actually transferred to another account.
Oh, that's
So come on, bro. I know what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to finish the story.
So what ended up happening was
Let
this
him
lady,
finish.
this file had a lot of hair on it. We know the full story. We know she did this. We had to give her another check. They were pulling from another account.
Yeah.
But the other underwriters. Now you tell the story, Jose.
Because we can't let you tell the story.
You tell the story, Jose.
This is listen. We're like attorneys.
We want to put names on bullets.
Confidentiality agreement. We
Fine.
cannot.
Fine.
Listen, no. But listen, at the end of the day, we don't care. Go ahead. You find a better deal, go find a better deal.
Take it.
It means that we're not doing our job. And we're not saying, don't judge us on it. Judge me on what I can do.
The
for you.
results.
But give me the opportunity to be able to compete. Now, she signed contracts. And if you know about this, and in the MCA space, once you sign contracts, you have exclusivity. Go ahead. You know what the funny thing was? Oh, Jose, they don't speak like me and you. They killed the deal.
Wow.
I know they would. I told you they would. Then I'm waiting for tomorrow because tomorrow I get the answer. It's like, no, they know this, they know that, they know
found
this.
out.
Just remember this: when you transfer a payment from one account to another account, let's not even say another account. No. Debit. Let me just change that. Debits from one account to another account. That's not even the same name. Trust me, you are not getting approved. We've done this for such a long time. We've invested our own money on it. Who would lend you the money in that point?
Because you don't own that business.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
so this lady that came to us so arrogant, speaking to us like this is not something that we do on a I mean, listen, what she does on a daily basis, it's not what we do on a daily basis. We fund on a daily basis what we specialize in. We don't feed our families unless we get people funding. You know what I mean? So anything else that this lady was trying to tell us that we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. She now tomorrow's the last day of the month. She has to come back to us with her tail between her legs, and we're gonna have no choice but to get her done again because I mean we're all in the business to make money. But Jose, hopefully tomorrow, Jose is gonna bring it to reality that we are the best at what we do because everything that she
Reality
said when she came to us all arrogant and she said that she was gonna get done, every deal died in front of her.
It dies.
And now
Hold
she
on,
needs to
hold
try
on.
to get
I
it
want to
done.
ask my man Carl. Carl, did we get a fucking? Did we get the clear close to the yes or no?
Tomorrow, definitely.
All right, there we
Close.
go.
Carl, I love
Guillotine Gillette.
that. Guillotine Gillette.
It'll get your. Never mind.
Randy Wilkins says that was good. Randy Wilkins, what'd you say? Lag rest deal you can do?
Randy Wilkins, you got to sign up. Listen, it's just real talk as far as to what goes on in the industry, but it's also presenting you different opportunities.
Yeah.
We went to Miami a couple of days ago. I have an ISO sending us over deals. Jose, wow, I didn't know this was possible. Co-signer financing, I had no idea it was possible.
Under one roof.
Jose, term loans, I had no idea it was possible. We even have another big ISO in Miami that we went to go visit. We're funding the deal next week. That was the deal that I said that it was one year's tax returns, 1 year's personal and business. That's it.
Yeah.
1 year. Think about it. Who does that? No one does that. You have to be in business for 2 years, and you have to present a P&L, balance sheet, positive blood test results, etc. So forth. We were able to do it with
Stool
just
sample.
1 year tax returns for the business. Last year's. Let me rephrase that. Last year's tax return for the business. Last year's tax return personal. Okay, and we're getting a business line of credit for $50,000.
It's fire.
Insane.
And Jose, not for nothing, but you the beauty of what we do and the beauty of you going out there and getting all these not alternative, but the real traditional programs for us is these deals that we're able to go ahead and get people. Again, they're only used to daily and weekly payments with MCAs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When someone is only getting approved for $25,000 MCAs for 6 months and they're paying like $1,100 a week, and then you come to them and say, "We got you a $50,000 line of credit, couple of points above prime." I mean, they think that deal doesn't even exist for them. Like it's not even in their realm of thinking. People don't even talk the way we do on the phone about these products.
I spoke to a shop today. They say, you know what? You get term loans or line. It wasn't a term. A line of credit approved in 48 hours. What are you crazy? Yes, we do.
With a bank.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
Because I'm the best at what I do.
You starting to sound like me. You starting to sound like me, bro.
No. Listen, this is what we do.
Gotta give credit where credit's due.
I know we're wrapping up, but I just want to say one thing.
Is this your final thought?
This is going to be my final thought. I'm going to just drop the mic and leave. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we ask you, everyone, right? And even today, like Randy, I love Randy's feedback was amazing.
Randy Wilkins, yep.
Randy,
Shout out, Randy.
this is what we do. Just so you know who we are. We do not tell you to do something unless we're going to do it first. Starting June 1st, And I have to say it today because today's the last day of the month. Right?
Tomorrow.
We're not gonna
Well, tomorrow,
tomorrow's the last day of the month, but
Yeah.
but the
This is
podcast.
the last pod. Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do, because I want to put everyone to the test. Because remember, at the end of the day, you and I are the same. We're brokers. We want to make money, right? But if I tell you crap, you're gonna believe crap. But what we're gonna do is we actually have 2 marketing companies presenting this.
Balloons.
I got balloons because we're celebrating. No, listen, we're gonna do this to the community. We're gonna do this. We're doing $1,000 challenge, meaning that we're gonna spend $1,000 in each department: business lending and mortgages. We're only gonna spend $1,000 aside from everything else we do. But we feel that we have to make you believe. We need a roadmap. We're gonna spend $1,000. If you can put up $1,000, then you have to either speak to us or whatever. But listen, $1,000. $1,000 challenge. $1,000 challenge on the business lending side, $1,000 challenge on the real estate side. $1,000. And what that's gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and videotape it to see what that generates us. $1,000. And I can assure you that it's gonna make us a lot of money. And we're gonna bring in the lead vendors. You know what's funny is I have the lead guy backstage right now.
Backstage.
Front
Pissed.
stage.
Oh,
Pissed.
backstage.
The other lead
Howard
guy-
look to
the
the main
other
stage.
lead
Albert
guy-
to the main stage.
The other lead
Albert to the
guy-
main stage.
You want to know why? Because at the end of the day, they couldn't deliver. They could not deliver. Oh, now he's running over here. No, they couldn't. Matter of fact, forget about it.
Look what you did.
They couldn't deliver. They
Try to
could
wrap
not
it up.
deliver.
Look what you did.
They could not
No,
deliver.
man.
Hold on. Stop. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna introduce you to the lead source. I'm gonna introduce you to the person. I'm gonna give you their phone number, and I'm gonna show you how our company is gonna make $1 million based off of $1,000 lead source that we believe is fucking amazing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just to go ahead and translate that a little bit. So what we're gonna do is for $1,000 for each department. Now we have
Radical. Can you turn to the floor? So turn to the floor and walk to the floor.
so we have
On the floor.
hold on real quick. We have
We have a 4,300 square foot office that we have over 30 different affiliates that will show you what we do with $1,000 worth of leads.
and so ladies and gentlemen, so just to go ahead and explain a little bit more. So we're gonna give $1,000 in leads, just $1,000 in leads per department. And our goal in each department is to generate $1 million. See how quickly we could generate $1 million, okay, with just that $1,000 investment. And what we're trying to show you is this. Listen, I mean, for $1,000 to feed like almost like 10 people per department, what could that $1,000 do for just you? Because you yourself, if you with just $1,000 investment can generate $1 million, $1 million in funding, which typically can turn into
It's gonna be June. $1,000 worth of leads for the month of June, because this is gonna go to everything that we say. Call, text, set up the CRM,
email.
because everything is gonna be
Email.
nurturing. Nurture the leads. You can't physically call $1,000 worth of leads yourself. But take advantage of it, and we'll give you we're gonna give you the discount on the marketing. We're gonna bring the marketing out here. And honestly, at the end of the day, if that marketing guy does not perform, trust me, he's on social media, so he better make sure that he performs.
He has to perform.
Because if he doesn't, it means that your marketing company sucks, and that's what we're gonna say. You are no good. Because we're trying out a lot of different marketing companies. Why? Because we want to make sure you get the best results. Right?
All right.
So CRM training, sign up so that you can take advantage of all the resources that we have.
That's Jose.
it
Sean,
up.
Sean, you want to go ahead and give your final thoughts really quick?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're speaking to people, make your best attempt to build that rapport. Position yourself as, let them know you're like the defense attorney. You're not the one to convince, right? You're not the one that they have to, plead their whole case to. You're the defense. So try and get all the information up front, right? And be transparent with them. Say, hey, look, if there's anything I need to know about, that's only going to help your probability of getting closed at the end of the day.
Nice. And then,
love
ladies
that.
and gentlemen, I'll just, wrap this up like I do every week. I think I'm getting pretty good at this. Confusion costs approvals. Clarity closes them. Okay? It's just about painting the correct picture.
Sorry.
Painting the correct picture to the correct underwriter who you can deliver a story to. See, it's all about relationships. Most underwriters are just analytical. They're just going to look at the financials. They're going to look at the bank statements. They're just going to look at numbers and try to get it done. Sometimes you need to tell a story. You need to go to the underwriter that will accept both a story and the paperwork, so you can try to put everything together to get the best possible approval. And listen, this economy right now isn't built for perfect borrowers. It's built for survivors. Brokers like you guys, all you guys out there, all you guys in the chat, all you guys that are on, watching us right now on Facebook, they watch us on YouTube, they're watching us on TikTok, or just right here on Zoom. So for you guys are the survivors. You know what I mean? And brokers like you guys are the ones who are going to turn to, let's put it back on this mic. You guys are going to turn to the people that you guys are able to go ahead and sell, not sell your best self, but you guys are going to turn to the people that's going to go ahead and believe in you to go ahead and get the job done. The people that are going to know that you guys are indeed the experts. And you guys are going to be there to tell the success stories. Again, from the messy, fix the narrative, and get paid for solving what the banks can't. Again, I am Darrell Mills. I am your host. There's no music tonight.
There was no one to your right. What are you talking about?